Hey guys, here for theButtonSmashers.com, and this is our review for My Hero 1's Justice.
精神の話はよして現実の話をしよう。今までのような衝撃波では体力を削るだけで確実性がない。
Developed by Baiken and published by Bandai Namco, My Hero 1's Justice is a 3D fighting game based on the My Hero Academia anime series. The game's plot follows the anime religiously to the detriment of itself. Before we get any further into this review, allow me to issue a warning of sorts. I am a huge fan of the My Hero Academia anime and manga series, and this game was unable to meet my high expectations for it. From reading the manga weekly, which you can now find for free on the Shonen Jump Viz Media manga app, to binging the anime, which I'm about a season behind on, I think I am well informed on My Hero Academia. I know each character, every plot point, every detail, every quirk, and as a fan, this title doesn't scratch the itch I was hoping that it would. My Hero 1's Justice is a good enough game, yes, but it's just enough, nothing more. Visually, the game looks great, and technically, it performs just as good. There are no bugs to speak of, and the game has all the standard modes that you'd expect in a fighting game, including story, missions, local matches, online play, gallery, arcade, as well as character and profile customization. With regards to modes, this meets all the requirements, but how do they hold up?
Round 1, ready?
My Hero 1's Justice is a 3D brawler with decent mechanics based on the popular anime series. Now if you followed me long enough, you should be aware that I don't usually get hyped for games anymore. However, I made an exception for this one. I couldn't help myself. This is My Hero Academia after all. The first My Hero Academia game, and I wanted it all. In a way, I think my hopes set it up to always fail for me. And that's the thing about the hype. It can't really be matched. So what was I looking forward to with this game? The simple answer would be the ability to reenact events from the first few seasons of the anime with a twist. What I mean by that is that it would be fine for the game to follow the plot of the anime just as long as it offers a unique perspective that only this medium can offer. A good example for what I'm referring to is the Naruto Storm games. Those titles follow the plot of their anime but with much more needed exposition and different perspectives to the world that Naruto and his companions inhabit. My Hero 1's Justice fails on that point. The game has two story campaigns, one for the heroes and one for the villains. Each of these has a linear structure with occasionally branching parts. These occasional deviations serve more as a distraction since they don't lead anywhere. As mentioned before, the campaign follows the plot of the anime to the letter. So for someone who saw the episodes of the first few seasons, it doesn't offer much. The story segments play out like a graphic comic with Japanese voice acting. After the comic sections, the game transitions to a battle stage where you are able to battle your opponent. Basically, this does not add anything to the My Hero lore. Like with most superhero movies of old, this is more of a lazy cash-in on popular characters without the crux that made the source material popular. Story aside, the gameplay also fails to impress, just meeting the bare minimum requirement to fit in the genre it inhabits. Now that is not to say that it's not fun, it is, but in some ways it uninspiringly drops the ball. The basic gameplay consists of basic 3D brawling mixed with mid-air combat and a completely out of place wall combat system. This is not the Naruto series, so prolonged combat on walls is a bit out of place. The controls consist of manual or automatic fighting systems given two primary ways to play the game. Using just the square button, you are able to execute most of the combos just by using the normal or automatic option. Combos are executed via the use of the square button, triangle, and circle button. The combat system can be modified for more effectiveness by using the L1 button for dashing around the arenas or R1 to block. While blocking, it is also possible to perform special moves. These simple controls are further enhanced by flicking the left joystick in different directions while pressing the face buttons. For example, the square button will become a counter move if pressed while holding the direction on the left joystick. Sidekicks can also be summoned by using L2 and R2 triggers to use one of their moves. Each sidekick also has cooldown and can also join in for a particular special attack. Special attacks add some much needed flair to the battles, and each of the characters are capable of using 3 of them. The first 2 are unique to the character, while the third is just a team attack with whoever they have as their sidekicks. The third attack unfortunately does not change depending on the characters in use. This was a huge shock to me because during the tutorial it was hinted to be something similar to the team attacks in the Naruto Storm games. What we got instead is just an attack whereby 3 characters use their first special moves all at the same time. Regrettably, there's also not much stages to choose from, which is a trend that I've noticed with most of this game's shortcomings, a lack of variety. With only 12 stages to choose from, 3 of which are alternative night versions, it's difficult to not feel let down. There was one high point when fighting in the forest at night boosts Tokiyami's attack, but that was just in the campaign. It doesn't affect him during the normal fighting mode. With only 21 characters in the roster, there's sure to be some disappointed fans. Since the game's campaign covers the first few acts up to the battle with All For One, you wouldn't be faulted for assuming characters like Miru, Twice, and Sir Nightai would be playable, but they're not. Not even all the characters from Class 1A are present, and Class 1B are completely absent. Not all Quarks are interesting enough to have playable characters for them, but they could at least be made psychics exclusively. Leaving out Mei Hatsumi should be a crime. And why is Endeavor pre-order DLC? Why? Now, I didn't hold much hope for characters like Gentle and my girl La Brava to make it into the base game, but it's characters like them that would make perfect DLC. I know I don't usually get into the DLC and microtransaction lifestyle, but for Gentle and La Brava, I'd make an exception. They were late additions to the anime and they're obscure enough for their omissions to not disappoint fans. There is no excuse for the other characters. The lack of variety continues with the lack of character unlocks, and it's even more egregious than the other shortcomings. Back in the day, games would have few characters unlocked and the roster would grow as you progress. The recent release of Smash Bros. Ultimate uses this technique to great effect. My Hero 1's Justice forgoes the process of unlocking characters and instead opts for item unlocks. These provide gear for the playable characters, however, they are not as rewardable as unlocking characters. Yes, All For One is an unlockable character, but he's the only character who is. Every other character is available immediately, and you'll unlock different gear for them by meeting certain requirements. Fundamentally, this equates to 2 outfits per character with color swaps and accessories, so no swimsuits, alternative outfits, or other stuff of the like. Who wants this? Who thought this was a good idea? In the end, it made more sense to me when I looked up the developer behind the game. Remember, I mentioned them at the beginning, Viking. They're a developer known for a 3D shooter franchise called Gunslinger that has never made its way over to the West. They had one game that launched outside of Asia, and it was Rise of Incarnates, a game that flopped miserably despite receiving favorable reviews from critics and gamers. Viking made a decent game in My Hero 1's Justice, but it lacks soul. The game offers none of the fan service or depth that fans of anime games expect. So a lot I've had to say so far about this game. Here's my final verdict. My Hero 1's Justice is more than anything a disappointment. It takes a series that is creative, over-the-top fun, and limits it to a by-the-books affair. Simply put, there's no big incentive to play this game. Yes, there are what-if scenarios and missions, but none of it is impactful. Maybe, just maybe, it's my hype being let down. Expectation breeds contempt when those expectations are not met after all. The simple truth is that my expectations were not met, and for that reason, I did not enjoy the overall experience with this game. My recommendation is to approach it with caution, and if you do get it, grab it whenever it goes on sale, and it will, trust me. Thank you very much for watching our review of My Hero 1's Justice. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave us a like and a comment in the comment section below, and if you'd like to see more content like this from us, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you'll always know when we put up new content.